Eto na, carbohydrate cravings. During studies show that women are more likely to engage in emotional eating compared to men.
Oh.
Ang dami palang nangyayari sa katawan natin, lalo na sa mga babae, no? Kapag nag-hormonal fluctuation.
This is Modern Tribe. Modern families, timeless principles.
Hormones o disiplina. Bakit ka lagi nagka-crave? Last week, I had this honest question to you. See, we were walking sa mall and then you saw something na very usual spot sa'yo, a dessert. And then, usually, you would ask me to buy. And then, usually, yung response ko is, let's wait for our once-a-week date. Diba? May once-a-week date tayo every Friday.
Yes.
And ang din natin, we have to wait for that before we can have our dessert. So, sometimes I give in. Sometimes I didn't give in because I want to stick with our goal. But most of the time, every time I stick to our goal, it didn't turn out to be okay sa'yo usually. So, that's my honest question. So, I really want to know ano nangyayari sa mind mo.
Ang dami ko kasi nakikita eh. And then parang nasi-stimulate yung mind ko na, gusto kong itry yan, gusto kong itry yan. So, humahaba na yung list ko. Tapos, Friday lang tayo pwedeng kumain. So, kailan ko sila pwedeng matry, diba?
Right.
Parang it's gonna take forever. Humahaba na yung listahan ko and the Fridays cannot catch up with it.
Yeah.
Yun. Pero, mas lalong natitrigger yung mga cravings ko for sweets. Napansin ko pag paparating na yung period ko.
I noticed that,
usually. Agree ka ba doon?
Yeah.
Oo. So, doon,
Very unusual yung mga cravings mo every time.
Oh, unusual.
Usually, a week during your period, correct?
Before yan.
Yeah.
Oo. Pag period mo na, parang iba naman yung mga pinagdadaanan.
So, parang meron siyang levels pala.
Yes.
Yeah.
Minsan before, minsan during. Pero mas marami talagang instances na before.
Yeah.
So, tinatanong mo ko, what's the thin line between your cravings dahil gusto mo lang itry itong something and because triggered siya by hormones. Yan.
Yeah.
So, paano nga ba yung differences sa hormones natin, no, between men and women? Paano siya nakaka-influence ng food cravings natin? Ikaw, parang hindi ko na-notice na may cravings ka.
Well, based on my experience, may mga cravings din ako. Especially dun sa mga season na sobrang stress. And kapag meron akong cravings, usually specific siya. I remember when we were in Bacolod, I had specific cravings towards back ribs.
Alam ko yan.
And chicken wings. Diba? So, leaning towards high sodium, high protein. Yung
Baka
cravings.
na-miss mo lang. Cravings ba yun? Or baka na-miss mo lang? Kasi wala dito yung specific na back ribs
Right.
and wings na
Might
kumakain
be.
natin doon.
Might be. If maalala ko siya, okay lang. Hindi lang ako malipasan ng cravings. And I didn't feel parang may frustration kapag hindi ma-feel yung ganong cravings. Kunwari, I'm craving for chicken wings. Tapos, right in front of me, meron tayong eggs at saka sardinas. If I eat that, I'm good after. Parang ganun yung feels ko.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yung cravings ko about stress naman, hindi siya ganun ka-strong na kapag ma-hit yung protein needs ko, usually nawawala naman siya. Pero may mga indulgences ako in the past, like yung extra sweet na mga like ice cream at saka mga chips. Yun, nag-indulge talaga ako doon when I was in my unhealthy lifestyle. Ngayon, I didn't crave for it na. Parang wala akong ganung desire for chips at saka ice cream. If meron, okay lang. Walang ganung drive to really go after it. How about you?
Hindi, na-notice ko na parang hindi ka nauumay. Kasi yung ulam natin laging chicken breast, beef, alternate lang yun eh. Parang hindi ka nagko-complain. Kinakain mo lang lahat. And then sarap na sarap ka pa. Habang ako, minsan, depende din yun sa period ng menstrual cycle ko eh. Merong ganang-gana ako, meron namang umay na umay na ako. Tapos ikaw, parang same lang, parang monotonous. Parang isa lang yung reaction mo sa food.
Really?
Minsan ka lang talaga
Right.
maumay. Bakit kaya?
Yeah, you know. Pero sobrang sarap talaga ako sa pagkain natin.
Wow.
Every time,
So glad.
yeah, aside from ikaw yung nagluto, our meals are usually made by love, by someone I love.
Kahit galit ako, no?
Yes. Yeah. Pero, sobrang gutom kasi ako. 2 meals na ako, diba? Parang sinisavor ko. Sobrang sinisavor ko. Diba, napapasobra akong kumain. Mindset ko when I'm eat, parang totally black out yung surrounding ko. If I'm not aware. But most of the time, I'm being intentional dun sa conversations natin. Dun sa hapagkainan, diba?
Oo. Minsan nagsiselos nga ako sa food eh, kasi una pa siya. So, yun pala yung feeling mo. Masyado ka nakafocus sa pagkain. Pero sabi mo, sinisavor mo yung food. Pero parang sa nakikita ko, hindi mo siya sinisavor.
Savor yun for me. Ang bilis ko kumain.
Oo.
Na sobrang savor ko, hindi ako ganun ka-mindful dun sa manners ko. Di ba, when nandito tayo sa bahay, most of the time, kutsara lang ginagamit. Wala lang tinidor.
Kutsara tsaka kamay.
So, yeah.
Kahit may sabaw. Kahit may sauce. Grabe. So, savor ba yun? Totally, different talaga yung relationship natin with food.
I noticed yung sa pagkain mo, yung pacing mo is different from mine.
Oo. Minsan niinis ako kapag share tayo. For example, meron isang date tayo, kumain tayo ng super sarap na ube cake. Na parang cheesecake siya, diba? Tapos isa lang yun kasi, syempre, medyo malaki siya and it's too much for one person. So, nag-share tayo nun. Feeling ko, nagpapaunahan tayo ng pagkain ng cake. Kasi ang bilis mo.
Yeah. Sobrang sarap kasi, diba?
Yeah, so ako naman, syempre, ayokong maubusan. Kuha din ako. Parang hindi ko siya na-enjoy. Nainis ako every time mag-share tayo. Kasi parang nabibilisan ko yung pagkain ng food. Gusto ko kasi chill. Parang ini-enjoy ko talaga yung lasa. Ini-enjoy ko yung moment. Kasi syempre, Friday lang tayo makakapag-dessert. Tapos bibilisan pa na parang wala na, dumaan lang, ganun. So, parang minsan, naiinis ako pag-share tayo. Kaya lang, mas practical yun. And, of course, that's the healthier way, diba?
Yeah.
Pag nag-share din tayo ng drink, grabe yung sip mo. 3 sip ko na yun.
Yeah.
Isang sip mo lang. So,
that's why I remember, kapag umorder tayo ng kape, gusto mo separate. Kasi, yeah, that's true. I tend to drink faster. And then, hindi ko na, minsan na-notice, no, yung sa part mo. That's why I learned the hard way on how to really consider you when it comes to that. Right? Yeah.
And as a morning person, gusto ko talaga, doon ako na-challenge when I did longer fasting. Kasi I had to give up breakfast. Kasi most of the time, yung dinner minsan sa labas, gano'n, so mapapakain ka. So, to build the habit, I had to sacrifice breakfast.
True.
Which wasn't sustainable for me in the long run. Because I really, as a morning person, I want to enjoy breakfast while having coffee. And yeah, so that's the difference, no? Sa atin pa lang yan, how much more sa iba. So, actually, merong study to support na bakit iba-iba yung pagtrato natin sa food, especially men and women. So, meron dito, na-influence pala talaga ng hormones natin.
Interesting, right.
Ang cravings natin. And mostly, sa women, syempre, estrogen and progesterone, diba? Research shows that women experience increased, carbohydrate cravings during the luteal phase, ito yung before yung period namin. Dahil tumataas yung progesterone levels. This is according to a Journal of Psychopharmacology. Well, for men naman, syempre, mas mataas yung testosterone levels nyo, diba? Actually, na-influence nito yung preference ninyo sa food. Kaya, mostly, protein-rich and savory food ang kine-crave nyo or kailangan ng hinahanap na katawan nyo. Hindi carbs. So, which explains why hindi ka affected sa mga nadadaanan nating desserts.
Right, yeah. Dun sa testosterone, of course, that's the growth hormone, which is primarily responsible dun sa pag-build ng muscle.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to our biology, yung sa lalaki, mataas yung testosterone.
Correct.
And that's why mataas yung muscle mass namin.
Correct.
And for us to sustain it, yung hinahanap ng katawan is protein. So, that makes sense kasi yung preference namin when it comes to food, di ba? We usually enjoy yung steak,
Yung ribs. Sinasabi mo,
ribs,
diba?
right, yeah. Things,
Tsaka kahit pa ulit-ulit yung manok at saka beef.
we're good to go. Yeah, name it. Any restaurant, we're good for it.
Yeah. So yun. This is from Hormones and Behavior
Journal, right,
Hindi
yeah.
magkakaila.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Meron din, aside from progesterone and testosterone, meron ding serotonin.
Right.
Okay, serotonin, ito naman yung tinatawag na feel-good hormone.
Oh, yeah.
Because parang nagka-contribute siya sa feeling of happiness. Kaya,
So, yeah, maybe connected to sa pag-take natin ng mga sweets na associate dito sa serotonin,
yeah,
most likely.
actually, yung serotonin, nasa-stabilize niya yung mood.
Mm.
Okay mo. And kapag low siya, ito yung nag-give ng signal sa body natin na ma-depress and maging anxious. So, ano yung connection ng serotonin sa cravings? Actually, nire-regulate niya yung appetite natin.
Oh, that's
yung
why.
serotonin.
Mm.
Okay. So, particularly sa carb-rich food.
Yeah.
So, actually, kapag low ang serotonin, natitrigger yung brain mo na mag-crave ng carbs.
Okay. So, na-associate dun.
Yes.
And when you think of carbs, yung first that comes into our mind is either ice cream, pizza,
Pasta.
parang ganun, mga
Dessert.
loaded with carbs. And not just carbs, combination yun ng high sodium, high fat.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But actually, carbs talaga yung natitrigger. Yung craving carbs. Actually, kapag period ng mga babae, bumababa yung serotonin levels.
Oh.
And kapag bumaba yung serotonin level, dun na natitrigger yung pag-crave ng
That's why.
carb. Kaya, na-notice mo, mas maraming bodybuilders na lalaki compared sa babae.
Yeah.
And sabi nila, it's a mental game daw. Oo nga naman, mental game nga naman kasi yung pag-release ng hormones, diba?
Right.
Yung command center is the brain. So, biologically speaking, or naturally speaking, mas may advantage nga ang men knowing all these things, no? Parang ang unfair na na parang lahat ng hormones to your advantage.
Well, if you compare that with your peers, no? Kasi yung the good thing about having categories at saka having competitions by different genders, success, because of course may difference when it comes to
Biological.
So,
component.
for the men category, of course, we have a different competition there. Really for men. So it has a different standard. Compared with women, of course, you have a different standard then. So you compete with other women who have the same hormones, have the same body composition. So I think you're doing well.
Pero alam mo ba, meron akong nakausap na bodybuilder na kasama ko sa gym before. Kasi tinatanong ko siya, grabe yung fat percentage ng katawan mo. Parang ang baba talaga.
Yeah.
Of course, para lumabas yung muscles mo, di ba? So, tinatanong ko siya kung may irregularities ba sa period niya. And true enough, sabi niya, kapag paparating niya yung competition niya, siguro mga 2 months before, hindi na siya dinadatnan.
Wow, yeah.
So, affected na yung hormones natin. Yung production, di ba? Because we don't get enough fat for women, which is necessary.
Yeah.
So, grabe talaga yung challenge para sa babae to reduce your body fat percentage. And did you know na yung stress can cause sa pagbaba ng serotonin? Kaya, nagsistress eat. Lalo na yung mga babae. So, related pala siya. If you feel stressed, bumababa yung
Feel-good
serotonin.
hormone.
Yeah, of course, because you don't feel
that's
good
right,
anymore.
Yeah. So kapag stress ka, yung serotonin bumababa,
Yung craving,
yung cravings mo,
tumataas.
you will associate yung feeling bad, feeling down, and you will think na the only thing that can lift you up is either ice cream or indulgences dun sa
Yeah,
parang ganun.
because nga, tumataas yung craving ng body natin for carb when mababa yun.
Yeah.
Serotonin.
That's why we associate it to stress eating.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's where
Interesting.
stress eating comes from. Meron pang isang hormone na nakaka-affect sa craving. At ito, ang pinaka-famous na dopamine.
Oh, yeah.
Dopamine is...
Well, of course, dopamine is the reward center. So, di ba, when we play games, may reward system yan. Or we play sports. When you finish or maybe have a trophy, dopamine spike. And even in gambling at saka smoking, dopamine is also present.
Yeah.
So, with food, of course, you can associate that. Imagine a 8 to 5 work, a long laborious work, and then you look forward to that sandwich or burger.
Yeah.
You associate that as a reward for you and for your body. No?
Yeah. Or maybe yung dessert after your meal, diba? You
Oh,
look
yeah.
forward to
True.
it.
Yeah. And even drinking, like yung mga alcohol, drinking at saka indulgences every weekend. So that's also we call it most people will call it de-stressing.
Ah,
Right.
yeah. So, if meron tayong stress eating, meron din tayong de-stressing.
But actually, we know na it's not really distressing because you're putting your body at risk. No, to be upfront, alcohol is toxic to your body, so it won't really give you that kind of good reward to your system.
Interesting kasi kapag yung brain natin or yung body natin nag-release ng dopamine,
Right.
nare-remember ng brain natin kung ano yung cause ng pag-release ng dopamine or the
May
reason
pattern.
why or how we feel good. So, yun nga, for example, every time na sweldo day, naalala ko before, we always look forward to eating out. Yun yung nagiging reward. So, kaya siguro, yung mga tao, they really look forward to sweldo day. Kasi nakaka-release siya ng dopamine, ng reward. Same is true siguro kapag Friday na. Very excited yung mga tao.
Right.
They feel na they will be rewarded with the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Na-associate na ng brain nila, yun nga, yung pattern. Pag weekend, it's reward time.
Right. When I was a teacher, I've been dreading to end the week. Like,
Wow.
Monday is the day in which yung stress ko
Sinusumpa mo.
is very high. Parang gloomy yung araw, Monday.
You don't look forward to Mondays.
Yeah.
Parang ganon. And Monday na holidays are such a
Really good, you're right. Yung Friday, sa hapon, yung that moment when you go out of the office, that's the happiest day of the week.
Unless, may event pag Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a reward kasi it feels like you have freedom to do whatever you want and then to go in a different places. Parang ganun yung feels. Reward system.
Yeah. But anything na sobra is dangerous, di ba?
True.
So, kailangan natin i-protect to kasi nakaka-cause siya ng habitual activities or even addictive eating behavior.
Anything na sobra is hindi maganda. So, kapag you are used to over-consumption dun sa dopamine, over-spike ka, of course, it may lead to being numb dun sa reward. If you use it too much, capacity natin to enjoy gets less and less.
Ito yung yung nakakainis. Kasi, study suggest daw na difference mag-respond yung men and women sa dopamine spike.
Oh.
In relation to food, ha? Ito na naman ang sabi. Men typically have a more robust dopamine response to rewards, which may drive you guys to seek out more substantial, protein-rich food na naman, like meat. Grabe, para kahit anong levels ng hormones, yun yung cravings nyo, protein-rich. So, mas inclined talaga kayo sa sa healthy na options.
Well, the reason siguro we are...
Yun daw yung rewarding for
Correct.
you from an evolutionary perspective.
Correct, evolutionary perspective, because nature mandates men to be strong.
To look for food, diba, before?
Right, yeah. Because we are naturally hunters. We're the ones who hunt and run and really sweat and labor to find food. At the same time, we're the ones who protect the family. Tama? So, women, your body composition is designed really for childbearing.
Yeah, to store fat.
Store
Enough fat.
Yeah. yung estrogen nyo is mataas. And kapag mataas yan, it will also contribute dun sa
Fertility.
right? And also yung pag-build up ng fat,
Yeah.
which is very important for childbearing.
Kaya lang, napapasobrahan. Kasi
That's why
nga,
yung friend mo isa na mababa yung body fat, yung hormones na disrupted,
yeah, nawala
yung natural
period
flow niya is being disrupted as well.
Correct. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Grabe, ang unfair. Dahil ba kinain ni Eve yung fruit? Matamis kaya yun? No, kaya nagsimula yun?
Tanungin mo siya sa langit if yun nangyari. Yeah.
Nako, nahihirapan ako na. Marami kaming nakapila. Okay. Sige, punta naman tayo sa after ng hormones, punta tayo sa metabolism. So, iba-iba din yung reaction ng bodies ng men and women when it comes to metabolism. Kaya yun nga, na-notice ko na mas disciplined yung mga lalaki sa pagpapalaki, pagpapa-firm or pagpapatone ng body. Tapos yung mga babae, parang it takes us time, longer than men to achieve our body goals. Parang ganun. May kinalaman yung metabolism dito.
Might be. And what I can assume is, based sa conversation natin kanina, because mataas yung muscle mass namin, of course, yung metabolism mo will also increase. Of course, yung metabolism is yung capacity ng katawan mo to convert what you eat to energy. So, kapag mataas yung muscle mass mo, naturally, yung BMR mo or yung basal metabolic rate mo, or yung pasidad ng katawan mo to burn calories even at rest. Let's say you're sleeping, you're sitting, you're just breathing, your body is still consuming, burning calories.
Napaka-unfair talaga.
So kapag mataas yung muscle mass mo, yung BMR mo mataas din. Meaning to say, you keep on burning calories more than the other sex.
Alam mo ba na dahil dito, nasusustain ng men ang weight loss more effectively?
Oh, yeah.
Kasi nga, nasustore ng muscles niya, diba?
True.
Wow, grabe, napaka-unfair.
Well, of course, you can use that for your advantage. There are many men who have increased belly fat.
Yeah, that's because they lack muscle mass.
Correct. And also with their lifestyle din. So it is not a guarantee that you have this body composition, yung evolutionary perspective when it comes to your metabolism. It is not a guarantee that you will have a leaner, more muscle mass. Tama ba?
Okay, kasi minsan nga yun nga, sobra yung consumption.
Yeah, lifestyle pa rin. So it's not an excuse. It's not a guarantee either, but it is a lifestyle.
Yeah, but if you use it to your advantage, mas mabilis.
For sure,
men
100%.
to metabolize, to maintain your body goals. Well, for women naman, yun nga, dahil naturally, compared with men, lower yung muscle mass namin at mas mataas yung fat percentage.
Right.
Nakaka-slow down siya ng weight loss or fat loss in a healthier sense, di ba? Kasi nga, we need the fats.
Right.
Yeah, and then, women are more likely to experience metabolic adaptation. So, nire-reduce ng body ang pag-spend yan ng energy kapag nire-restrict namin yung self namin with calories. So, grabe, ang bilis mag-adapt ng body namin.
True.
Because, syempre, we are designed to carry our babies. And in order for our bodies to survive, diba? We need to adapt to kung ano yung pumapasok na calories.
Yeah.
So, hindi siya nababurn regularly siguro, no? Nasa-store siya.
Right. Also, siguro, since yun yung metabolism nyo, yung katawan natin has its own system then to either conserve or burn.
Na-adapt.
Nag-adapt siya. Let's say, konti lang yung nilalagay mo sa katawan mo. You are in a famine mode, naka-fasting ka, yung metabolism mo hihina. So, masisense sa katawan mo, oh, walang pagkain, walang energy. So, we will conserve
Kailangan
energy.
ko makasurvive.
Correct. I have this allowance, itong calories lang. So, I have to use it wisely.
Pero meron tayong, diba, sa fitness, meron tayong mga terms na, speaking of calories, no, meron tayong terms na bulking and cutting. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? And why is it, parang mas common siya sa men compared sa women?
First, define natin yung bulking. So, ang goal ng bulking is to gain muscle. Ang goal ng cutting is to lose fat.
Pero bakit tumataba yung mga taong nababulk if gaining muscle yung?
Right. So, you will in the process of building muscle, you will also gain fat. So, merong dirty bulking. Ito yung you will really gain muscle and fat at the same time. Yung clean bulking, minimal lang yung pag-gain ng fat. The thing about gaining size, it's normal, it's okay. But samahan mo ng workout because your goal is to gain muscle. Kasi if you don't work out, you will only gain fat.
Both.
Losing fat, the same thing. Yung goal is to lose fat but also to gain muscle. So, samahan mo din ng workout. Bulking or cutting man yan. Priority yung protein at saka yung workout. So, you will gain muscle.
Ikaw, parang napansin ko, ang bilis mong mag-shrink.
Right. Well,
How do you do that?
yung activity ko is very high. So, as you see, consistent tayo sa workout, sa sauna, sa walking. And yung meals natin, dalawa. Dalawa yung sa akin. So, mabilis lang. And it worked well for me.
Okay. Kasi yung sa akin, grabe, nung 2021 pa, that was 3 years ago, na-stuck ako dun sa 47 kilograms. Ang tagal kong, parang it took me 2 years para mag-increase ng 2 kilograms. And then eventually, nag-50. Parang ganun katagal. So, grabe, hindi siya mabilis.
Hindi siya mabilis. Right?
Oo. Sa inyo ba?
Well, yun nga. Yung lifestyle ko din kasi, it's been years of testing and checking what works for me.
So, iba-iba pala siya.
Right.
Per person.
I've seen people who are faster than me when it comes to building their ideal body composition. I've seen others who are slower as well. So, the reality is, we cannot copy the pacing of others.
Correct.
We have to compete within our own pacing din. That's why the temptation is to look at the social media influencers and copy their results.
It took them years also, no,
Yeah.
to build those.
What you see is the tip of the iceberg. You don't see the
Correct.
process, what's being done behind the scenes. Tama? I've been working out for many years. So, siguro the reason why yung BMR ko mataas din. You mentioned yung...
It's a product of your
Right.
accumulated
That's right. May
habits mo. Exponential.
exponential growth siya.
Wow. Meron akong isang student, no? Sabi niya, Coach, alam mo ba, yung goal ko na body is yung body composition. And then, parang mga 3 months pa lang yata siya sa program. So, sabi ko, Ma, may pagpatuloy niyo lang yung ginagawa niyo. Kasi, yung body ko ngayon, goal ko siya noong 2021.
Exactly. Right.
Kaya sabi ko, it took me 3 years and I still want to improve this, no? So, minsan kasi nagmamadali tayo without really understanding how our bodies work. Kaya, it's important also to eat, understanding your hormones so you won't feel guilty about sa mga kinakain mo.
Right.
But syempre, iba naman kapag may underlying medical condition ka, di ba?
Right.
It really requires more effort. For healing naman yung priority mo. But we are talking here about yung normal lang na body type. Yeah. So anyway, speaking of metabolic rate and hormones, parang mga scientific sila, pumunta naman tayo sa medyo emotional na part, no? So, ano kaya yung mga ways na yung mga psychological factors like stress and yung state ng emotions mo, your emotional well-being, how do these things affect men and women's eating habits?
Based on my experience,
Emotional ka ba? Hindi naman.
right, I lean towards eating as for nourishment and enjoyment as well. I also enjoy food, no? That's why every time there's opportunity for buffet, unlimited breakfast, really able to devour.
Pero I think with the goal na to fuel your body.
Yeah.
Not
most likely,
not really to taste how this tastes like, ganito pala yung, ganitong kind of cheese, iba pala yung... I think yung sa'yo, parang, I need this for my body. Ay, masarap siya without really, having to care kung, mas masarap to kaysa dito, mas maasim to kaysa dito. Parang ganon.
Parang ganon. Yeah. Something like that. hindi ako nagdudwell into
The flavor.
the flavor. Although, I find pleasure on tasting it, di ba? That's why we want variety din.
Correct.
Pero I dwell on what makes me full. Siguro ganun. So, hindi siya ganun yung goal ko is not really to really enjoy to the full.
Sige, lumabas din. Pero alam mo, totoo yan. Kasi ang men daw ay goal-oriented. Kahit sa pagkain, grabe, goal-oriented kayo. Men often take a more straightforward, goal-oriented approach daw to dieting. And mas focused kayo sa outcomes. Wow. Kaya siguro mas mas natural sa inyo mag-count ng calories.
Right. That's why siguro we use the term when I'm with my friends, mga lalaki. Bulking. Cutting.
Yeah.
So, yung kapag nasa buffet kami, hot pot man or bulking ka bro, bulking.
You're very much aware of your goal.
Correct, you're right. So, more siya on the outcome dun sa body composition.
And less affected by emotions.
Right.
Meron akong kilala, sobrang busy niya. Hindi niya notice, hindi pa pala siya naka-dinner.
Right.
Ganon. But now, he is more conscious because gusto niyang mag-bulk.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not really about, depressed ako ngayon, hindi ako kain dahil busy ako, but it's really more driven by your goals.
Right. I noticed every time I raise a question about food, may mga instances tayo when we were walking, na I would ask you, na-remember ko yung ganitong food. Na-remember ko yung ganitong dessert. And then you would tell me, let's buy that. So, usually you're triggered, you're stimulated when you hear that food or...
Yes. Minsan meron lang kasi ako, personally, may desire kasi ako, lalo na kapag different flavors, parang limited edition. Parang, for a limited time lang siya. Meron akong desire na tikman.
Right.
Not necessarily craving. So, meron ding times na gano'n dahil yun sa personality ko.
Right,
Kaya minsan may mga gano'n akong responses.
Yeah.
Pero yung mga out of the blue talaga, na kung ano na yung maisip ko, yun talaga triggered by hormones. Actually, women are more likely to eat in response to emotions. Grabe. Especially during times of stress or hormonal fluctuations. Kasi nga yung stress, nakaka-trigger ng levels of serotonin, di ba?
Right.
Kaya it still affects our hormones.
Yeah. And also, the thing about it, you are really in tune with your emotions. You really feel it. So, yung cravings nyo are deeply connected with emotions. And that's why it can really sway your food choices.
Correct.
Whereas din sa lalaki,
Medyo logical kayo.
logical kami.
Goal
I would say, when it comes to being in one with our emotions, we are far from it compared to women.
Talaga?
Yeah. So, might be the reason why our relationship with food is stable. It's not rising and falling because of that factor. It makes sense. Right?
Objective kayo kahit sa food, no? May subject.
Yeah.
Parang ganon.
Yeah.
At saka, we are prone to pressure from societal norms. Kasi nga, may mga body standards. And yun na nga, the influence of social media. Grabe. This is beautiful. This is not. Parang...
Well, I think same thing with men. We admire men who are really strong, have six-packs.
But it's easy for you kasi nga, meron na kayong muscle mass and mataas yung testosterone levels niyo. Well, for
you
women...
put the work. Yeah. It
Yeah.
takes time. It's not easy to build six-packs.
But
Yes,
it's even harder for women because of our body fat person.
You're comparing kasi yung basis mo for that is men.
Hindi.
Yeah,
May
never.
mga women kaya sa social media na may abs.
Right.
So, they make it look easy in social media, ha? So, yung audience tend to ask themselves, why is it hard for me? Bakit may mga babae ako nakikita nagsisix-pack, pero parang ang dali lang. Pero bakit ako nahihirapan?
Okay, yeah.
Meron kaming ganun.
Right. Yun yung instances. I think I want to make a point na women you should run your own race. You might think na yung lalaki easier mag-build ng muscle, but this is our own race. We have a different body composition.
Yeah.
So that kind of feeling na mahirap mag-build ng muscle because you're comparing your body composition
To others.
especially lalaki. For women to have six packs is really challenging, correct? Pero that's why very important to make din a distinction between men and women when it comes to that.
Tsaka meron din kaming mga struggles na, for example, gusto namin ng malaking glutes or puwet.
Right.
Siyempre, actually, nakakatulong yan kapag nagbabulk ka, di ba?
Right.
More calories,
Right.
mas mabilis siyang mag-grow. Kaya lang, yung downside is lumalaki din yung arms namin, yung belly namin. And although, as a coach, I even tell my clients, it's normal. But, kapag picture taking na, naku-conscious na kami. Although we are there at that phase na hindi pa namin na-reach yung goal namin, we're still in the process. But if it's caught on cam, grabe yung conscious kami. Parang, gusto ko nang i-stop tong pag-bulk ko kasi ang pangit ko sa pictures.
Right. And notice mo, every time there's a group picture, yung una yung tinitingnan, of course, yung self nyo. Natin, we tend to,
look at
ourselves first. But yung sa babae, yung braso talaga.
Oo.
Tapos kapag malaki yung braso niyo, ulitin natin.
Oo.
Parang ganun yung feel. Right?
Meron akong mga students na super payat nila. Gusto nila yung body ng ibang students. While yung gusto naman nila na body, gusto yung sa kanila. Kasi nga, yun nga sa picture. Sabi ng iba kong clients, yung mga, nagmamuscle game, okay daw tingnan sa picture, pero in real life, payat daw talaga.
Yeah.
Pero yung iba naman, mas okay sa kanila yun. Kasi yun nga yung goal nila. So, grabe talaga.
Right.
Minsan, it's really about our perspective and really comparing ourselves to what we see on social media.
Yeah. True.
Which, hindi naman natin mawawala yun ng mabilisan, di ba? It's really a process.
100%.
And we need to work with our relationship with ourselves for us to
Right.
do away with those societal norms, diba? And focus on our own, improvement or race. Grabe. Studies show that women are more likely to engage in emotional eating compared to men, according to International Journal of Behavioral Medicine. And yun nga, elevated cortisol levels are linked to stress. And kapag nag-increase yung cortisol levels mo, you are found to increase in appetite for energy-dense food, which is basically carbohydrate. So, this is according to Neuroendocrinology Journal. Pero ano nga ba yung cortisol?
Yung kanina, we talk about you women being in tune with your emotions. Speaking of this very interesting study, because stress, cortisol level is the stress hormone. So, connected lahat yan. When your cortisol level is elevated, yung ghrelin hormone, which is the hunger hormone, this is the hormone that tells your brain, hey, kumain ka kasi gutom ka. Bababa yan. Also, kapag bababa yung ghrelin, yung leptin tataas, which is the satisfaction hormone. Meaning to say, this is the hormone that tells your brain, you have to stop eating because busog ka na. So imagine, there's this imbalance. Kapag stress ka, yung cravings,
elevate yung cortisol.
will go up, tapos yung satisfaction will go down.
Wow.
So
Kaya
that's a
nag-overeat
perfect
yung iba, no?
combination for stress eating at saka overindulging. Overeating.
Yeah, overindulging.
Right.
Ang dami palang nangyayari sa katawan natin, lalo na sa mga babae, no? Kapag nag-hormonal fluctuation.
Right. So, when you know this, you as a woman listening to this, of course, you have to be intentional.
Strategize.
You have to know your next 5 moves. Kasi if stress hits you, at saka yung hormones mo, period week mo, you must know what to do. Dapat meron ka ng baong armas. Tama ba?
Correct. Kailangan ma-catch mo yung self mo when you're stressed.
Right.
Para you can easily calm yourself down.
Right. That's why, nung mga first months natin sa marriage natin, we had to be strategic when it comes to our food choices. That's why dun sa grocery natin, isa sa mga snack natin is nagaraya. Diba?
I always cried over food, no?
Yes. The reason why we placed that sa pantry, para meron kang kainit. Hindi tayo on the spot purchase through Food Panda
Kung ano lang yung gusto mo.
Right. At least meron dyan. At least meron siyang a bit of protein.
Yeah. And we have, na ngayon, no? For those who are into low carb, meron ng yung guilt-free options for dessert.
Right. Yeah.
So, if you know na it's gonna be a, let's say, terrible week, it's gonna make you stress, it will affect your craving, then, yun nga, armado ka na, tama yung sinabi mo.
Right.
It's always best to be prepared.
Yep.
So, why are we talking about these things? Ano yung importance na alam mo itong hormonal fluctuations, yung metabolic rate, and yung effect ng stress and emotional well-being mo to your cravings? What do these things have to do? So, anong importance na
Right.
malaman natin itong mga to?
Well, for me, very important to know the tendencies of our hormones. Because no matter how much you try, you cannot outwill your system.
Yeah, based on experience.
Right. No matter how disciplined you are, there will be times in which your nature will overpower you.
So, how do we arm ourselves?
So, first and foremost, that's okay. You have to
Accept the fact.
accept
that
the
it's
fact.
okay.
But what's not okay is you make it as a lifestyle. So, if you missed it once, don't miss it twice.
Which one?
Let's say, yung nag-detour ka dun sa usual plan mo. Right? So, that's why you have to know how your body works so that you can strategize based on your tendencies. Very important to make it personalized
Yes.
because we tend to look on social media and copy whatever is being posted by your idol na fitness icon.
Correct. Yeah,
Iba-iba
that's true.
yung season natin, iba-iba din yung goal natin. So that's why very important to tailor it. Made dun
Yeah,
sa...
dapat personalized.
Correct. Personalized. So, as for women, before I ask you the same question, I have a sincere question. Let's say we have these tendencies diba, sa babae, and it seems that tendencies and cravings for sweets, for carbs. How about those who have concern like diabetes? Who have very sensitive issues when it comes to tolerance dun sa sweets? How do you, the thin line between when to indulge and when to say no to it?
Yeah. In terms of, when it comes to people who have underlying condition, well, it wasn't magic naman, no, na bigla na lang silang nagka ganong condition. It took them years accumulated
Right.
before they got that condition. So, it requires, sad to say, more effort in their part because their priority is healing muna.
Right.
So, if they need to suppress the craving, I'm sorry to say na they have to until they are healed.
Right.
Diba? For me, ha? And yun nga, marami namang options ngayon. Sugar-free options with the go signal of your doctor. So, personally, I think na if you have underlying conditions, you really have to discipline yourself.
Right.
And really give those things up
Yeah.
until you are healed. So, marami ng ngayon, strategies to combat cravings, like getting enough protein, mag-explore ka how to make your dishes not boring.
Right.
Ganon. So, if you are really intentional and focused on your healing, I believe mo overcome mo yun. Kahit madapa ka man, let's say, once, again, sinabi mo, na don't miss it twice. Parang ganon. So, it's normal. But, if you're really struggling, my suggestion is to really partner with an expert. Like, consult your doctor always, have a coach for accountability, ganon. So, those are different naman na cases. I'm talking about those naman who are like normal yung blood sugar levels, walang underlying conditions. It's okay to plan your indulgences, diba? And I think na if it happens before your period, mas maganda na mag-invest ka sa mga weeks na hindi ka nagka-crave, diba? Mag-invest ka sa healthier options. Feed yourself with the right food, nutrition. Makakatulong yun sa pag-lessen ng cravings mo pag dumating na yung time na before your period. And sasabihin ko, nakalimutan. Mamaya na lang.
That's a good tip, right? So, sa may mga medical conditions, especially if you have concerns with your blood sugar, of course, there is a smarter approach when it comes to your relationship with sweets. right? It should not be an excuse to you. And that's why very important na inform tayo when it comes to this. Now, the reason why we are talking about this because there's an practical application. As for you learning about these things, what's your game plan when it comes to your relationship with food?
Sa mga weeks na hindi ako emotionally driven to eat specific food, I really have to eat the right kind of food. Protein-rich food that will make me full, give me more muscle mass. Not because I want to look like a man, no. But for me to be healthy, because we need muscles, diba, to protect our bones and to live long. Because our muscles improve our mobility. And our mobility or our movement, it's very important for longevity or for you to live a long quality life. So, if dumating na yung time na magka-crave ako, actually napansin ko when I started eating more protein-dense food, nalalasan yung cravings ko. And dun sa mga days na hindi ko na ma-meet yung protein requirement ko, dun tumataas yung craving ko. So, protein is very important. And also, when I started eating the right amount of protein daily, dun nagsimula yung nawala yung dysmenorrhea ko, yung muscle cramps. So, it's proven by studies and by experiences of a lot of people na eating nutrient-dense food can really help us with our craving. It will not make you perfect, no, na hindi ka na talaga kakain ng sweets. But it will show you a significant improvement in your craving.
Nice. That's a good strategy.
Ikaw,
To look ahead.
tatanungin pa ba kita? Parang,
I'll just live to the full.
meron pa akong isisingit dun sa sinabi mong personalized diet. So, alam mo ba na ang personalized diet or nutrition plans na kinoconsider yung gender-specific cravings, it has shown 20% higher adherence rate compared to generic diet. So, nakakatulong talaga kapag para sa'yo talaga yung program.
Right.
Or yung plan. Diba?
Customized.
And tailored diets addressing specific cravings can lead to a 15% greater weight loss over 6 months.
Wow.
Kaya siguro, significant yung results ng mga students natin.
Right.
Because they are coached properly by somebody who does it
Correct.
well.
Wow, yeah. So, meaning to say, at the end of the day, it all boils down to your plan. They say the war is won not during the war, but in the general extent when you're planning for it. So, meal prep is also a good way to put. I learned a lot with our discussion. So, magandang hadikain. When you have cravings, you will point out to me
Mas
the studies.
naiintindihan mo na ako, no?
Right.
Yeah, so to recap, of course, our hormones play an important role sa mga food na hinahanap natin. And yung metabolic response ng body din natin. It's also a little gender bias. But if you know your advantage as a man, then it will be of good use. And if kami namang women, we know our strengths and weaknesses, it will help us respond to our cravings properly.
Right.
Diba? For our own good. Ano pa ba yung pinag-usapan natin? Yung emotional well-being and stress, it's important to manage cravings. And of course, a personalized plan is very important to live a healthier life, beating your cravings
100%.
most of the time.
Well, of course, if you have any questions, especially with our topic about fitness and health, feel free to connect with us. We have our coaching programs. I have my Facebook page, Coach Nino, and with me is also
Coach Gisela.
Facebook din active.
Facebook.
Right. So, we conduct one-on-one coaching, at saka we also have group coaching for those who want higher accountability.
But you can also message Modern Tribe.
Oh yeah, that's our page to help modern families to really be excellent in all these areas. This is Modern Tribe, helping modern families
Embrace timeless values.
This is Modern Tribe, Modern families, timeless principles.